know if this is breaking news to you, but your team is not very good.
It's almost like a bet you almost have to make to him not make the playoffs, but
Who has done absolutely nothing in his career and is trending in the wrong direction.
And I know there's going to be some upset league members.
Are we going to be talking about them as Mr. Beasts or Mr. Leasts?
I'll start because I have some beef with Madden's Ultimate Team.
Who's getting the most interceptions this year? Either Smith or Wilson. Who's going to be the worst quarterback?
When it's all said and done, the Dynasty Champions will be up here. I think the rest of the league will be somewhere down at the bottom.
be a struggle, starting in Springer Mountain. I'm not sure how well he do at Katahdin at the end, but because Gage and Hardman probably won't be on rosters come next season, so.
Next to Shinwoo, he would be my most likely to know that, or not know that the league's going on.
Well,
I think it's a plain donut with nothing on it. Kind of like Tannehill and Jared Goff. Kind of donut.
Alrighty. Welcome to the 2022 free agent draft, or I should say 2022 season preview, as we are recording this before the free agent draft, but if you're watching this, the draft is already completed. Yours truly has already won the draft, as usual. I got all my players in, everybody else sucks. Nevertheless, let me introduce our panelists today. We have the three-time champs, Mr. Beasts, in the house. We got the Dynasty Champions, and we got the Green Machine, the strong Green Machine. So, first of all, how are you guys doing? And maybe how you, just general thoughts about the upcoming season. We'll start with the Beasts.
Well, doing very well. I am looking forward to another fine season. I'm looking forward to getting that trophy back from Patrick, and I'm ready to go.
I don't really appreciate the introduction where you say three-time champion for the Beast, and then there was like no adjectives to describe the Dynasty Champions.
I have some adjectives.
But I'd like to make it known, I'd like to remind everyone this is a Dynasty league, so when it's all said and done and we look back at the record books, the Dynasty Champions will be up here in terms of championships won, and I think the rest of the league will be somewhere down at the bottom.
All right. Yeah, I'm doing well today. Ready to draft some free agent guys. I got $2 max to play with, so I'll be in all the action. But hopefully I don't need to add too much to my squad. I'm already pretty well ready for the year, and I've been knocking on the door for the last couple of years. So hopefully this is a year for me.
That's right, let's talk about it. Let's talk about last year. The 6 playoff teams were Mr. Young, Mr. Beats, Island of Misfit Toys, the Green Machine, the Koalas, and yours truly, Rye Bread. So let me ask this question. Everyone wants to take it first. Take it. Out of those teams, who will not be back in the playoffs next year? Who is not returning to the playoffs?
Sorry, Cody, but the easy answer is Misfits. Very impressive to come in and get third, but I don't see that team getting back to the playoffs.
Yeah, I think that's a good answer. But also, Rye Bread has very good potential to not make it as well. I'd say if I had to classify the top 3 teams right now, not in any order, I'd go with the 2 people sitting next to, and then Brendan as well. The rest, I think, are kind of bubbles. So I'd say you, Ryan, have pretty good potential to not make it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you'd be willing to bet on the guy who's made it 8 times in a row doesn't make it.
Ryan, I think it's great that you dwell in the past and everything, but everyone else is looking for the present and the future. So if you want to keep dwelling on the past, you're more than welcome to, and just kind of think back to 6 years ago when you were at your peak and at peak Rye Bread. But hey, you know what? It's all downhill from here. You're trending in the wrong direction.
Interesting. Wrong. Okay, let me take some notes from the Dynasty Champions organization. We've had like Austin and Mike Vick in a box in the past with the 3-year plan. What is it? Is it the 20-year plan? The 28-year-old plan? How long is the plan for you? Because You really are taking your sweet time.
Well, we had went for it all a couple years ago, and it did not work out. I think there were a lot of factors that went into that season. It was a great season for the league overall. Had a lot of revenue and coming in, and a lot of hype around the Deep Diving podcast.
That was good.
We had our friendly but not very friendly bet with the Green Machine here, and I think all those played a factor in going all in that year. But trying to recoup and build back up. But I think like where the team is at, build back better.
What was that?
Build back better. Good.
Yeah. No, but we like where the Dynasty Champions are headed. Got a lot of good young players to build around and draft capital to utilize.
That's a great answer. Let's talk to the Green Machine real quick, because I want to bring up a very interesting statistic. Last season, Alex, as you know, he did win the championship. His regular season, he scored a lot of points. In fact, statistically, Alex's season last year is the third best season of all time in league history, just in terms of points scored versus the average within the league. So Alex, talk to me about maybe like the disappointment, the emotions that you felt after getting knocked out of the playoffs, and what you're going to do this upcoming year to maybe close the show.
I'm just gonna keep running it back. It was very disappointing. I believe it was the Beast I lost to. Is that right?
In the semis, yeah.
Yeah, and
And then you lost to Cody.
Then I lost to Cody to cap it off in the third place game. But so yeah, that was a tough year. But if I just keep putting on those points, I'm if I can go out and do a same repeat, I am absolutely happy with that. Basically rolling out the same squad, a couple big moves this summer, but we're here. We're still ready to score, and I'm as quoted by many in these previews, and with Austin's and what the Dynasty Champions just mentioned there. I might be top of the board again. So fighting for a playoff position.
I have a question for the Green Machine.
Go ahead.
So with Ryan saying the third best season of all time, all right, and you made some moves, do you feel your team is better than last year? And regardless of that answer, do you see a scenario in which it could kind of fall apart for you this season?
Yeah, I'd say I definitely took a step down with the Tyreek Hill trade. Shored up some depth at the running back position. So I think overall I probably pulled back a little bit. But that's if I have one, that's my best season ever basically, points wise. So there was I was gonna pull back anyways. What was your second question?
Yeah, do you see a scenario in which it could kind of go downhill to maybe where you don't make the playoffs even? And what do you think would take place?
No doubt. I mean, just injuries. I got a lot like riding on Jalen Hurts. Basically, like if there's any issues there, I'm just floating around with Kirk Cousins and might be scavenging some trades out to shore up the quarterback position. But I think a lot rides on that, and just like anybody in the league, health of players and stuff. Luckily, I think the preseason has left most teams unscathed, so hopefully it stays that way as long as we can.
I like to say for the record that I have in my notes that Matt Ryan is a good candidate to the Green Machine this year.
We'll see if he can get
We'll see.
or Joe Flacco.
We'll see what happens.
That's right.
Let's go back to the Beasts.
Yes.
So again, I'm looking here at just regular season wins. And I've seen the last 3 seasons, the Beasts have more regular season wins than any other team at 32 wins. However, so that's a positive trend, but we have a negative trend of the Beasts not repeating for the 3-peat championship.
Terrible.
My question is, did we officially hit the ceiling for the Beasts and we're on our way back down, or is there still a window of opportunity for the Beasts to have success in this league?
I did that last year, and Lamar Jackson was garbage. I didn't have A.J. Brown was garbage. And so I think I got everybody coming back but those 2 players playing well this year. So I'm going to be right back up there with 190 points in the Super Bowl. And I don't think I'm going to be any worse. I don't think I was worse last year. I think I was good. It's just, it was a miracle by Patrick. And that's the kind of thing that's going to happen. Now, there's teams that can put up those kinds of numbers this year, but I'm going to be one of them and see how it all shakes out. But I'm going to be there. I'm going to be a factor. This team is a good team that is going to produce a lot of points. I will say that I don't need any injuries because I don't have a lot of depth, but I should be one of the top scoring teams again this year and competing for that Super Bowl again. That's how I feel.
Very confident.
Yes.
And I'll kick it to you guys over here. You know, in a few years when we're looking back on the Beasts' last like 2 or 3 seasons, like say 4 years from now, are we going to be talking about them as Mr. Beasts or Mr. Leasts? You know what I'm saying?
No. Did you say what you gotta say? There will be no such thing as a Mr. Least.
Go ahead, Avery.
Yeah, I mean, I would find it hard to, you know, to see Mr. Lease show up, but just with the track record, you know, always kind of being on the top somewhere, and spending the time. You know, there's a few people aging out with Henry and Eckler, kind of the core. You know, I'm sure like Derek Carr will probably cut like next year.
And that was another guy I was
long
missing
term.
at the end of the season. I didn't even have Derrick Henry, and I'm
Yep.
still putting up 190 in the Super Bowl.
There you go. Yeah, so you know, we'll see what that core looks like in a couple of years. There wasn't much draft capital this year, but
Nope.
he's got a little bit of money for today's free agent draft. So we'll see how that
I can try to buy one guy.
adds to the team.
Go ahead, and then I have a question for you after.
Okay, I'm gonna say I think this is all a fluke. I think we're gonna see the Beasts potentially just go way downhill this year. Like, so we might be talking about Mr. Least. You never. There's the Derek Carr aspect here that he may not be all that's hyped up to be. Lamar could continue to take a step in the wrong direction. Mac has proven to not be very good. I think Devontae's in a worse position now. Henry Neckler injury prone all the time. So I think it might be time to start thinking about a rebuild.
I will
for
say
the Beast.
maybe there's a storyline where Eckler, Henry, Carr, maybe even Devontae are all playing for a new team this year. And I have 10 first-round draft picks.
Yeah, no,
Maybe,
all right.
That's interesting.
but I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope that's not the case. I'm telling you, Patrick, coming for you.
Alrighty, well, so it's a good showing today for the Boydock Mafia, minus the newest member of the league, the Krispy Kremers. So Dynasty Champions, I have a question for you because the Kremers in total have a record of 14-13. They're over 500. This time next year, are we talking to the Kremers as still an over 500 team? And there's a lot of speculation that they're going to make a run this year. What do you think about their chances of taking home a Super Bowl?
So they're currently 14-13.
14-13.
Okay, I think we're looking at this time next year. What does the math end up being? Like a 15 and
Who do they beat?
25.
Who do they beat?
I see
Dynasty
one
Champions.
one upset potentially coming, but yeah. Hey Creamers, I don't know if this is breaking news to you, but your team is not very good. So I think you need to, like, step one is to acknowledge that. You're gonna have to admit it, but that's okay. You can still recover, but I think it's time to accept that you're gonna be at the bottom of the standings. So sorry about that, Chris.
You guys, it looks like we just had another league member arrive to the party, so everyone please give a big round of applause for the Mike Vick in a box.
Oh, wait.
What's up, boss?
This is my secret.
All right, here, yeah, have a
All right.
seat. So we're talking creamers. Right
Oh,
now.
really?
We're talking the Krispy Kremers. So my question to you, to the panel is, if you had to compare CB's upcoming season to a type of donut, what type of donut would that be? CB's 2022 season, what type of donut would it be? We can start with the Beasts, since I think you might have something on your mind.
I think it's a plain donut with nothing on it. Kind of like Tannehill and Jared Goff kind of donut.
Yeah. Pretty representative. Yeah, I'm actually gonna change my answer from what I mentioned earlier, but I think it's like it's a frosted donut that has like 2 sprinkles on it, and it's just like Travis Kelce and like Antonio Gibson, but his sprinkle just fell off. So just pretty plain at the moment as well.
So get this, imagine going through the drive-thru and you're just really excited for like, that raspberry filled donut with sugar on top, or the strawberry filling, and then you bite into the donut and it's just air. There's nothing in the donut. Absolutely nothing. You're just extremely disappointed. So I think that's what Chris's team is like.
Any donuts left?
You got a donut in mind there, Austin?
I don't know. I mean, I kind of agree with Mr. Beats over here. Maybe like a glazed Krispy Kreme donut, so if you get it and there's just no glaze.
There's no glaze.
We got glaze. Well, good luck, Chris.
Yeah, good luck, Chris. The panel does not.
Yeah, the expectations are high, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, so we have some word on the street that the Vegas Koalas, well, I guess if you're watching this now, we're currently in Vegas, betting on various Gotham City Batman props that are in Vegas. So I wanted to ask the members of the panel first, if you had to bet money on a team, so a team either bet, for a team that's gonna surprise, or a team that's gonna, not live up to expectations, what team would you bet on in Vegas? Would you either bet to maybe cover, or fall underneath their spread? So we'll start with Green Machine over here.
All right. I kind of have 2, but I don't want to steal every. So one, like under, I feel like I could take, would just be Brendan. Like, yet again, we're talking him top 3 contender, but like Ryan making the playoffs every season. This guy's missed the playoffs every season, so it's almost like a bet you almost have to make to him not make the playoffs. But his odds are you probably are getting pretty good odds for him not to make the playoffs finally this year. But yeah.
So you're saying you're taking the under on the
Yeah,
Heroes?
I think I'd have to, since there's probably some good value. That
Right.
I think this year he'd finally be a favorite to make the playoffs. So maybe we can get him at like plus 250 to miss the playoffs. So.
Okay. Interesting. Champions?
Okay, I'll go the other direction. Have a surprise.
Surprise.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Shinwoo. I think Shinwoo has been trending in the right direction for a few years now, and I think it's gonna start to come together. With ETN coming back, and he's kind of a wild card for that team. He's got 4. He's currently the only team in the league with 4 starting quarterbacks, if I'm not mistaken. So I think there's some trade value there if he wants to upgrade, an RB, wide receiver, tight end position in the middle of the year. So I'm gonna go with Shinwoo.
Beasts?
Well, I'm going to give you a team that there's not a lot of talk about that I think is going to be top of the league. The Vegas Koalas is not that team, for sure. And I know there's going to be some upset league members, but I think Rye Bread is going to be a tough contender this year, I have to say. His acquisitions, his team coming back, health, McCaffrey, Michael Thomas, the acquisition of Aaron Jones are all going to be big pluses for him this year, and I think he's going to be something to be reckoned with.
Well, that's interesting that you say that, because a few months ago we had a league member release a prediction video for 2022, and I don't remember who it was, but they had Rye Bread as the 11th best team in the league, and just so you guys know, I will not be the 11th best team. I will be the 1 team. So, would you like to update your rankings?
No, I was surprised because I was gonna say I'm taking the under on Ryan 100%.
Oh, there
I mean,
you go.
you know, that, first of all, you obviously know it's like New England. Everyone's inflating their odds, so surely the betting odds are pretty good if you bet them to miss the playoffs. But you're looking at their team. I mean, they got one quarterback pretty much. Baker Mayfield not very good. Deshaun Watson gonna be missing a little bit of time. Daniel Jones, he hasn't been good in 2 years. And other than that, the running backs, it was a good move to get Aaron Jones, I admit. That might bump you up maybe from 11th to 10th. I'll be but Christian McCaffrey, I mean, he'll be really good for the first 4 weeks until he's out for the rest of the season. Michael Thomas, does he still want to play wide receiver? I'm not sure.
Wide receiver 3.
Yeah, I don't think that's. It's a little bit suspicious. I'm surprised that you got rid of Keenan Allen and Mike Evans. I think that's going to hurt a lot. So, I don't know. I think I'm happy with those odds. I might call up the Koala and see if they can put down some money for me.
Yep.
There you go. 1 over and 1 under for Rye Bread koalas.
I like it. I like it, guys. Good stuff. Maybe one more Vegas question. If you had to come up with some sort of creative prop for this upcoming season that you'd like to bet on, maybe take a second to think it over. But what prop would you like to see in Vegas that would make sense for this year?
What week are your quarterbacks on bye?
7.
Will Green Machine have a starting quarterback who actually plays in week 7? Yes or no?
Interesting. Well,
He's got to buy one in the draft today.
How about this Green Machine? Will Green Machine's pride and joy, Jalen Hurts, still be starting by the end of the season this year?
Yeah.
You know the prop.
That's a good problem.
What do you think? What would you bet on that, DC's?
I'm gonna say no, and this is kind of where it all goes downhill for Alex. He's some questionable quarterback play going on, but yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna hype my players up. There's a lot to choose from, but I'm gonna pick my favorite, Deontay. I'm gonna say Deontay will be a top 3 NFL receiver this year. So that's a bet I would take. Receptions or yards, take your pick.
Who's the quarterback?
Kenny Pickett, of course.
Pickett.
Right.
Hey,
Obviously.
So you got to start him.
By about
He's
week-
going to get that.
By about week 4, I'm thinking.
What other good player props?
I would wonder, just because I guess I'm starting to play devil's advocate, DCs are hyping up their own players. I want to say, who's getting the most interceptions this year? Either Smith or Wilson. Who's going to be the worst quarterback on the
Hey, I think we learned this offseason that Zach Wilson has figured things out outside of the field. So I think that's going to help him a lot on the field this year.
Are you talking for the whole
I think his knees.
league or for his team?
Just for, I guess, for his team.
Okay. Because Jameis Winston is going to play quarterback this year. So
That's true.
There's your leading interception guy. Then we'll see what happens.
All right, I have a question for the Beasts.
Okay.
So we heard some offseason speculation that quarterback 1 of the Mike Vick in a box, Kyler Murray, doesn't like to do his homework. We saw a stipulation within Kyler Murray's contract that he must do his homework, watch film, as the season goes on. He doesn't do it on his own.
Right.
My question is, do you think the same is true about the Mike Vick in a box organization?
Oh, he does plenty of homework on his own.
And also, I'll preface this.
More than the rest of the league with all those graphs and stats you throw out there. Yes, go ahead.
As a former teacher, what grade would you give Mike Vick in a box on his homework?
An A for effort, but I don't know. Did you pick me? You picked me as one of the top 3 teams.
I did.
So I'll give you an A for your picks.
And then what grade would you give the Dynasty Champions, just as a franchise?
Dynasty champion. Next to Shinwoo, he would be my most likely to know that or not know that the league's going on.
Whoa! That's a big. To be compared to Shinwoo, oh my gosh.
I would give him most likely to draft a hockey player.
That was talked about yesterday.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
So no, I don't know. I would do, again, A for effort. That year he tried to make it, and I mean, once he got in that hole, what are you gonna do? So I gotta give him a C though, for where that team is.
Sure.
All right.
Let's talk about a team that we haven't really discussed much today, which would be Madden's Ultimate Team. Madden's Ultimate Team is, I mean, the past, let's say, 5 seasons has been a highly regarded team, you know, getting a lot of favors in the offseason, good positions in the standings, making the playoffs, even a championship in that run. However, last season we saw the Madden's Ultimate Team only come up with 5 wins with a 5-9 record. Do we think it was a fluke, or do we think Madden's Ultimate Team turns it around and gets back to playoff title contention? Whoever wants to take it, feel free.
Well, I'll start because I have some beef with Madden's Ultimate Team. I was trying to be nice, give him some friendly offers, give him some depth. I think he'd likely be the first to acknowledge that depth is not his strength. A lot of bench spots to fill, so just trying to work around it and offer some players like Mark Ingram, would be very helpful. Having Kamara, he's looked good in preseason, will have a role. Get some cheap guys like that, Gus Edwards, but he was reluctant to do so. And I think with him having 5 wins last year, if you look at his roster is currently worse. So I don't know, are we thinking like 2, 3, 4 wins?
Yeah, sounds like Bijan Robinson's coming to his team. We'll see.
Bijan.
With Johnny, it's the true like ebbs and flows of like Dynasty, where he had 2 losing seasons to start, or actually 3, and then kind of went on the incline, 3 in a row, 4 in a row, winning, and then last year was like the first year after Mr. Hornick proclaimed him as the best roster ever assembled. Last year was the first year we actually saw the cracks in those rosters, with injuries and everything kind of fell apart mid-season, and his team didn't really have any bite to it come week 10 of the season. So the quarterbacks there are still scary, and you still got the 2 aging but elite running backs, I guess, with Kamara and Elliott, but we'll see who else he adds tonight too. He's got a little bit of money to play with, but see if he can build some depth out.
Oh, okay, so we're overall down on the Ultimate Team. Let's go to another guy we haven't talked too much about, even though he's the defending champ, Mr. Young. I just wanted to know, when you get like the talk around the league, have we heard how Mr. Young's been spending his off season? We know championship hangover is a very real thing. Has anybody heard how the Youngs have been? What they've been doing? Are they studying? Are they partying? Have you guys heard anything about the Youngs?
I have not.
Still having triplets anymore?
Another set of triplets.
Another set of triplets?
Yeah.
Those two.
Do we think that the Youngs can do it? Do we think they could be a 2 from a 2-peat right here? Do we think they can do it?
I do not. I think he can make the playoffs this year, but I don't see him repeating. And there's 3 players that are going to factor in on that. And one is losing Aaron Jones. That hurts. And CEH, who knows what he's going to be, but I don't think he's going to replace anywhere near the numbers that Aaron Jones had. Deebo Samuel had his breakout year. He's going to be average this year. And Matt Stafford, I don't know if he lasts the season. He's already had arm troubles, and he was a big part of that run last year. He still has Chase and some other pieces that are going to put up points, but he's going to lose that edge, and he'll be a decent team, but not back in the Super Bowl. That's my prediction. Sorry, Young. I know I did question you last year, and I ate my words, but that's how I see it this year.
I think he's got a shot. I think the triplets, I think that was a prediction. That's how many championships in a row he plans to win. I
That's
do think
That'd be fun.
I'm not the biggest fan of CEH, but I think getting him for Aaron Jones, I think Aaron Jones is the better running back, but I think it's a better situation than just dropping Aaron Jones or something like that.
It was a money thing, right?
Yeah, I think it keeps his roster together pretty well. He's still got a quality core. Stafford is a big question mark, but I think at running back he's got a lot of good options. Wide receiver he's got a lot of good options. Tight end he's got Zach Ertz. That's going to help a lot. His resurgence. So I think overall he's going to help keep his core together as best he can. I guess just like last year, it's going to depend on how his quarterbacks will look. So
I agree with everything. We'll move on to the next question.
Yeah, I'd like to interrupt. I couldn't disagree more. I'm still very upset at this Aaron Jones trade. I don't know in what universe Aaron Jones. So we got keeping Aaron Jones or having Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who has done absolutely nothing in his career and is trending in the wrong direction, and Christian Kirk, who he could have dropped. That's a reason.
My neighbors are leaving, I bet.
Yeah, I saw that walking.
Zeke! Come here, play with Michael Vick.
No. Okay, so he could have kept Aaron Jones and simply dropped Christian Kirk. And Christian Kirk, like CEH, has done nothing in his career. So, I don't know. I think Aaron Jones has the potential to be, I'm even going to go as far to say the number one RB in football. There's a lot of receptions to go around in Green Bay, and I think Jones and Dillon are reliable targets. They'll probably utilize the run game more. So I don't know where Patrick's coming from on the trade, but hopefully it works out.
Very interesting stuff. Can we get some quick thoughts maybe from the Green Machine on the two trades the Dynasty Champions made? Second round pick for Russell Gage and a second round for Mecole Hardman. How'd you feel about those trades?
Solid. I mean that's good steps towards rebuild. And it's the beasts are mentioning, and because Gage and Hardman probably won't be on rosters come next season, so I mean that's a good kind of format of a trade for a team that's kind of rebuilding, just trying to sell off a few pieces. And I'm sure we'll see more from him, when he's 1-7 mid-season. But if you want to trade with Scott, that's I guess the price to acquire maybe Matt Ryan if he buys him tonight and whoever. Maybe I'll have to keep it in mind after Jalen Hurts loses his job. So
I like it. I like the take. Are you guys okay with one more question?
Yes.
A full panel question here. A nice little fun one to wrap things up. So, as we know, the Beasts spent this off season hiking the Appalachian Trail. How many miles was that?
2,194.
2,194 miles. Okay. So my question to each of you, and we can start with Mike Vick in a box. If you had to go walk the Appalachian Trail and bring one member of the league with you, so I can hike every moment, sleep in the same tent, who would you most want to bring with you, and who would you least want to bring with you?
I think I'd have to say least would be Madden's Ultimate Team, because I feel like you just hear trade offers all the time. And that'll get a little old after a while.
They wouldn't shut up.
Yeah. Who do I want to bring most?
You can bring nobody if no.
Bring nobody? I mean, I don't want to say that.
Nobody's reliable.
If you don't got feeling.
I feel like I'd bring Shinwoo. Shinwoo's pretty motivational. He would help me when I want to give up. He would sit there.
Teach you the tough parts.
Teach you the tough parts.
Plus, he's already in Atlanta, so you're kind of starting at the base.
That's true.
He's ready to
Maybe
go. He can supply you up.
Right.
You could get right to Georgia, right, to spring
And we know he's experienced driving long distance and going long distances from his previous draft videos, so I think he'd be a good choice.
Right. Beast, with the experience, I mean, you may have a little more insight here.
I'm going to kind of cop out because I could make a case for everyone in this league to go with. Seriously.
Oh, what a nice thing to say.
It's the truth. I can't think of why I wouldn't want to go with someone, but if I had to pick someone, I would pick the guy my age, and I would take koalas with me, because it would be, we could commiserate on our aches and pains.
That's a lot of bad.
I wouldn't be able to keep up with the young kids. And he would have he would have a lot of interest in it, because of what it is. So that would be my most. I can't pick a non-person, like someone not to go with, because they would all be good. Sorry.
No, very good answer. Good answer. How are the DCs? I have a feeling you'll have something else.
All right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna disagree with Austin again, and the person I say I'll go with, I'm gonna pick Johnny. And just real quick, because one of the things Austin said is trade offers. So Johnny, I'm gonna say this about you. I think this league could really use the vintage you. So I'd like to use this as an opportunity to kind of like kick you in the butt. And I would love to have trade offers from you. I haven't had any. I don't know, maybe other people have, which would be great. But I think your team is in position to start making trades. I think this league could use it. I think the league thrived under you. So I mean this as like a friendly kick in the butt, we'll say. But I'm choosing you to go on the Appalachian Trail with, because I know you're an awesome roommate. Spent a year at Mizzou together, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm gonna choose Johnny. Least, I don't know. I think I'd be having beef with the commissioner all the time. So I think that's an easy answer. He's out of shape. I don't think he would make it even a dozen miles before we start hearing all these complaints. So yeah, I'll pass it on to the Green Machine.
Okay. Well, I think I'm gonna go with both the expandees on this one. And I'm not sure if you can guess already, but going on the point, like, I don't know, Cody might be a bear to walk 2,000 miles with. We could chat for a while. It'd be good banter at least, but it'd be a struggle, starting in Springer Mountain. I'm not sure how well he'd do at Katahdin at the end, but and then I'd have to say CB, the Creamers, for my walking partner. That'd be a fun experience. Keep it in the Boydak Mafia, do the Boydak Mafia trilogy on the Appalachian Trail. So
I do have someone I wouldn't want to walk with, who's not in the league, but associated with the league.
Oh.
The Stash.
Oh.
He's a shady dude. And he would worry me if I was out there with him. I'd have to sleep with one eye open if the Stash was with me. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to walk with the Stash.
That's a good point. What about you? You got a response?
I'm with the Green Machine on the Creamers being my trail buddy. I feel like they'd just be a good time. They like to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Only person in the league that's like smaller than me, so I can eat more proportion of food on the trail. Make them do the work. They're younger too, so I like that. And obviously, I could not hike that trail with the Dynasty Champions because
At least the feeling's mutual.
24/7, it would just be, how do I win in fantasy football? What's your best advice? How do I win in fantasy football? And I do not need to take a fan on the trail of the Rye Bread organization. So that'd be my answer.
Good question.
But yeah, good stuff, you guys. So this will be our 9th season, everyone. Congratulations on making it this far. Shout out to the expandees too for joining along. Be a good season, I think. A lot of good storylines, a lot of drama.
It is. Let me just say that this is. I think a lot of these teams are getting better, and I think there's going to be some really high scoring teams this year. I mean, it's
a good balance.
It's going to be super exciting to see because there's a whole bunch of teams that could go on a run and get this thing. So I think more than any other year in my eyes, it's going to be exciting.
100%, I agree. And then that 10th season's gonna be a banger. That's gonna be a classic. And look for some news on the 20. This will be the 2023 rookie draft. We have big plans for a big draft special. Hopefully, getting all the teams in town. So stay tuned. Hopefully, the free agent draft went well for everyone, and we'll see you in week 1.